Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Spills his coffee, causing a crash into parked cars. Another runs over someone's foot. These are just some of the incidents captured on video of MAT bus drivers.
Valley News team Joshua Peguero shows us more videos and asks whether MAT bus riders and other drivers should feel safe on the road.
Tipped over his cup of coffee. Seconds later, he crashes into a parked vehicle. The driver was cited by police for the June 19th wreck that damaged a white pickup, but luckily no one was hurt.
My drink spilled and being stupid.
There are dozens of videos available of collisions with MAT bus drivers that happened in the past year. There's one driver who last August hit a woman in front of the Ground Transportation Center in Fargo. You can see her fall and get back up to speak to the driver. He was fired. There are other videos of drivers hitting parked cars, not stopping at stop signs and causing accidents, and being hit by semis. In May, a MAT bus driver was traveling in South Moorhead when someone ran a stop sign. The report shows he was hit by a woman preparing to give birth. She was rushed to the hospital. MAT bus tells us one of the reasons why it has a high number of accident reports is because even the smallest infraction is documented. But it says overall, its drivers are safe.
Just the city of Fargo buses did just over 1 million miles on the road last year.
All the drivers are hired through a third-party contractor called First Transit.
The entire metro area, Dilworth to West Fargo, all has skin in the game, if you will, that, they all provide funding for this service. And so we want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and documenting anything that happens to the vehicles.
Funding to buy or replace a MAT bus comes from taxpayers and grants. In Fargo, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
MAT bus tells us it doesn't have anything to do with the hiring of drivers or their background checks, as that's done through a third-party contractor.
Hot, humid, overcast. You get the feeling we might be in store for more rumblings like this morning. Hutch is here to clear it all up for us. Hutch?
Well, we do have some thunderstorms in the forecast, but this evening, I think we are all wrapped up. Our thunderstorms that were with us this morning are now moving out toward Duluth. We have rumbles of thunder in South Dakota. Those are severe storms, but they're a long ways from us. So high and dry are the skies over Grand Forks this hour. Viewed from our home of economy Skycam. Temperatures in the 70s until after sunset, and bedtime will dip into the 60s. Patchy fog once again will be a problem, but I think most of us stay quiet all night long. Grand Forks, your sunset, 8:20. Temperatures in the 60s as we head into the overnight hours. Coming up, we'll talk about thunder in your Thursday forecast as a cold front moves in and brings much cooler weather for our weekend, and we'll update you on the big Category 4 hurricane here in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Hutch. Authorities say a man choked and beat his ex-girlfriend before holding police in a standoff at Fargo South High School for hours. 24-year-old Michael Manuel Bell is now charged with terrorizing, 2 counts of domestic violence, preventing arrest, and criminal mischief. Court records state Bell choked, beat, and even allegedly held a knife to the victim's throat Tuesday night. According to court documents, when the victim tried to escape, Bell jumped onto her windshield, causing damage before she eventually got away. Police say Bell later showed up to South High School, where police were talking to the victim. Bell was arrested when the standoff ended.
The man accused of shooting a Grafton police officer earlier this month now faces federal drug trafficking charges. 37-year-old Ruben Cruz is charged with conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance, possession with intent to distribute 500 grams of a substance containing meth, and use of a firearm in a drug trafficking crime. He has also been indicted by a South Dakota grand jury on a similar but separate drug trafficking charge on top of his attempted murder charge out of Walsh County.
He moved himself beyond being a conspirator, beyond being a drug dealer, a drug dealing conspirator. He moved himself, we allege, to being an attempted cop killer.
If convicted, Cruz faces a mandatory minimum of 20 years in federal prison.
Investigators are trying to find out how a woman died on the White Earth Indian Reservation. 32-year-old Beth Hill was reportedly found dead in a bedroom on August 5th. Investigators say a preliminary autopsy found no signs of physical trauma, so now they're waiting on the toxicology results. Authorities say they don't believe there's an ongoing threat to the public.
A Cullum, North Dakota teenager is facing a sex crime charge after authorities say he assaulted a young boy earlier this month. 18-year-old Zachary Richardson has been charged with felony gross sexual imposition. The 4-year-old boy accused Richardson of touching him inappropriately. Authorities say Richardson and the 4-year-old live in the same neighborhood, attend speech therapy together, and are friends. Richardson denies any wrongdoing. A man was arrested for shooting a BB gun into the back of an unoccupied vehicle. Police saying it happened around 2 this afternoon on Morrison Street in West Fargo. Levi Glasser was arrested for reckless endangerment, discharge of a firearm within city limits, interference with officers, and criminal mischief. No one was hurt.
A fire erupted while a man was driving an RV. It happened around 11 this morning on Highway 10 near mile marker 16 west of Holly. Officials say the man wasn't injured and there's no word yet on the cause of the fire.
Fargo police say they've gotten several calls regarding a scammer identifying as Lieutenant Ross Renner. Police say the scammer tells people to go to their bank and withdraw money. Another caller told police that the scammer was asking about being an expert witness. Police also say the scammer used technology to spoof their number as the police department's non-emergency number, which is on your screen, 701-235-4493. Now, if you see this number on your caller ID, don't answer and report the call to police.
Let's take a look now at the COVID-19 numbers. In Minnesota, the Department of Health is reporting 542 confirmed cases of COVID-19, along with 14 new deaths linked to the illness. In total, more than 1,700 deaths have been attributed to the disease. In North Dakota, there are 238 new cases in the state. The death toll is now 138.
Cass and Grand Forks counties could see their coronavirus risk levels go up next week. Governor Doug Burgum says they are among a handful of counties where the number of cases could push them from the low to moderate level. The change could prompt more restrictive guidelines for individuals and businesses. Today, the governor explained why he no longer is looking at it from a statewide basis.
The degree that we might be considered to be sort of economically penalizing businesses with guidelines to cause them to restrict their business when there isn't really a risk of community spread in their communities or very limited risk, then again, we're trying to be thoughtful about balancing all of these different objectives.
Burley, Morton, Ward, and Stark are among other counties mentioned today by the governor. Burgum added that overall, while the number of cases is not going in the right direction, the state remains among the best in the nation.
New COVID-19 guidelines from the CDC are causing some confusion. We'll explain how these changes will affect you.
And we started our day with some rumbles of thunder and some showers of rain pushing through. Gorgeous and red sunrise once again. Your forecast shows some cooler weather on the way, a few thunderstorms as well, and we'll check in on the latest with our Hurricane Laura here in just one moment.